My mission on this planet is to help creators big and small land 1 million sponsorships by 2032.
Meet Justin Moore. He's the sponsorship coach and the founder of @CreatorWizard, which is a school and community that teaches you how to find and negotiate your dream brand deals so that you stop leaving thousands on the table.
We just help someone get like a mid 5-figure deal.
He has over 500 alumni and is just cracking the 7-figure mark.
I literally was looking at our revenue, the P&L recently, and I was like, dang, I didn't realize we were making that much money a month.
And he has done all of that in the beginning, organic.
The journey to where you're trying to get to is way more fun than getting there.
What has been the secret to grow your audience? Welcome Justin Moore to the show. Justin is a sponsorship coach and the founder of CreatorWizard, a school and community that teaches you how to find and negotiate your dream brand deal so that you stop leaving thousands on the table. Justin, welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Excited to be here.
Yes, let's kick this off with what's your mission on this planet?
My mission on this planet is to help creators big and small land 1 million sponsorships by 2032.
1 million by 2032. Wow. Okay. And what inflection point made you start your business and this mission?
Well, the quick story is that my wife April and I have been creators for 15 years. Started first YouTube channel in 2009. So we've been doing this a really, really long time. Full-time creators since me 2014, so 10 years. My wife since 2012.
Wow.
So this has been the family business for a very long time. And the primary revenue stream for us for a big chunk of that time has been brand partnerships and sponsorships. And so, this prospect of developing a consistent income with brand partners has always been very important to us, rather, because a lot of people think that, brand partnerships are kind of unpredictable, right? It's like, oh, well, you build your audience, you grow, and then the brands will come, right? If you do good work. But what I learned was that in about 2015, I decided to start an influencer marketing agency. In fact, I was doing some prep work before this episode, and you and I actually interacted in 2016 when I ran that agency, and it was just funny. I was like, oh, we actually know each other from way back, because when I ran this agency, basically the idea was we're really good. My wife and I are really good at getting brand deals ourselves, but maybe we could help other creators get deals. And our niche was in the family vlogger sphere, the family creator sphere. And so this was the pitch that I gave to advertisers, other agencies and brands, is hey, let me help you go out there and forge deals with these other creators too, and I can help facilitate that process. And so by virtue of starting this other business, I got to see the other side of it, man. I got to be in the boardrooms with these big brands and these big advertisers who now were spending $1 million, across 100 creators, right? And so it affords you a very different perspective, because they're thinking about things in a much more detailed way than I think a lot of creators realize. And so having both of these perspectives is what led me to start creating content for creators around negotiating and how to advocate for yourself and all this type of thing. And so this big mission of helping creators land all these sponsorships is really that, is how do you create a sustainable career rather than one that gets really big and exciting for just a few years and then flames out.
Makes total sense. Real quick before we move on, what did you do before all of that in your previous life?
Medical devices, bro. Totally opposite this. I'm an engineer by background, and so the first chunk of my career, I was in engineering, product management. So completely the opposite of the creator economy.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about today. So if I were a typical client of yours, what's the core offer that I would buy from you?
The core offer would be courses, like a course or coaching. So we have if you kind of think about our offer ladder, the ways in which you can work with us is that we have our signature program is called Brand Deal Wizard. It's an on-demand course. At time of recording, it's $1,500. That gets you essentially lifetime access to all of the training materials, the community, a lot of the resources, pricing calculators, proposal templates, post-campaign report templates, all of the amazing, resources that we've developed. Quick story, actually, this course started as a live cohort-based course. I've run 10 cohorts of it. And then over the last year, I've been in the process of converting it into something more evergreen. And so that's really the core offer. And then more recently, we developed something called our Wizards Guild program, which is twice weekly private asynchronous coaching. So this developed from a lot of our alumni saying like, hey, course was awesome. I learned so much, but I just need your help on an ongoing basis, like directly with your team, like helping me with the negotiations and all this stuff too. And so we decided to create this offer, which is basically $1,000 a month, and twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, you get to send in questions, videos, voice notes, screenshots of contracts, or screenshots of email negotiations. And we are just basically on speed dial, your sponsorship coach on speed dial. Nice. So what we've heard is that, a lot of creators, a lot of influencers, business owners, they don't really want to have a manager. They don't want to give someone 20% of their deal if all they're doing is like responding to inbound inquiries from brands. It makes way more sense to have more of a fee-only model where you as a creator keep 100% of everything. You just pay us a monthly fee to kind of, again, be your advisor. And so far, so good. It's been a really fruitful. You can imagine, like, we just helped someone get like a mid 5-figure deal, right? And so it's like, it's like a total worthwhile investment if you can, if you're at that place in your business.
Yeah, it's a great ROI. What specific value would your clients rave most about if I were to interview them?
I would say how I am an anti-salesperson, maybe. Like, I just don't, this is actually an interesting insight, which is like, when I was running the agency, everything felt hard. Like I was constantly trying to, convince brands and clients and agencies to like hire us, doing the dog and pony show, going and doing the lunch and learns and going to their offices and talking to everyone, like, right. And so everything just felt like this pull, like everything was pulling and or pushing this kind of boulder up a hill. And with Creator Wizard, it's been the exact opposite. I have not reached out to anyone and be like, buy my course. Everything has been inbound. It's like all I've done is like kind of put all this content out into the universe of like what I believe about how to like make more money working with brands. And everything has come to me, coaching, courses, like,
love it.
It's been such a beautiful transition, man. I can't quite describe how different my life is now than it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah. What tools do you use to deliver the value to customers actually?
So like in terms of the tech stack?
Yeah.
So, our core community is run on Circle, which is our private community. Yep. We have both a free version of it as well as a paid version for people who join my program. And then the asynchronous coaching is run on a platform called Clarity Flow.
Nice. And take me on a timeline. When did you launch the business as is with the current offer stack?
The very first YouTube video that I uploaded was in June 2020. So almost 4 years now. And the first course was launched in January 2021, I believe. That's right. And so the current offer stack of like the on-demand course that launched a little, about a year ago, actually less than a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And we have now surpassed the number of on-demand evergreen students with live cohort alumni. So I was terrified for the longest time, man. I was like, oh man, like there's a magic in the live cohort environment, like accountability and people get to go in breakout rooms and like all this stuff. And so I was really scared to make this transition. But as you know, with a live cohort, some of the challenges with that is that like, you have these three, for me, I was doing 3 live cohorts a year. And so you have these 3 major capital injections throughout the year. And that's great. But if like you miss, enrollment is soft on one of those 3, it can make it really hard to forecast revenue and headcount and like all this stuff, right? And so there's a lot of reasons, in addition to like wanting to serve people more regularly rather than having to be like, hey, wait 3 months to learn from me.
For headcount, it's super scary. For headcount, it's super scary if you only have like 3 peaks a year.
Yeah, totally, man. And so like there's a lot of reasons I did it. But I've totally come around. I've seen the light because like now we have more alumni for the on-demand than we do all of the cohorts combined. So it's pretty amazing.
Great transition to talk about success. So how many paying customers do you have today, like in a typical month? I don't know, March or whatever is typical.
It's funny. I actually just posted like a tweet like 5 minutes ago saying that we're now doing about a course enrollment a day. So roughly about 30 enrollments a month right now. It's accelerating for sure. And so right now we've got about nearing 500 alumni total, and that's just for the courses. And so, but I've done one-on-one coaching also for a long time as well, and so a lot of those people have not taken the courses yet. So, probably 600 to 700 creators that I've actually compensated me for something over the last like several years.
If you think the creator economy is really interesting, then I got something for you. On milliondollarcreators.club, we actually created a database of all the creators out there, and you see not just their fans, followers, subscribers, but actually how much money are they making. So with that, we bring now transparency into the creator economy, and you really see how are the best of the best get their customers, price their offers, create their offer stack, get customers, which tools are they using, how will they grow and triple their business going forward. So if that's interesting for you, including lists of who makes the most revenue, who has the fastest revenue growth, who has the biggest audience, who has the fastest growing audience, who makes the most revenue per follower, and who has the most exciting offer stack from low end all the way to the high end, then go to milliondollarcreators.club and enjoy the data. Nice. 30, so I'll have to do the math in my head. 1,500 times 30 is
it's about 45K. Yeah, it's about 45K in the current trajectory for the course enrollments. Yeah.
Nice. 45K, that's 600-ish, 550 a year. Really, really good. And how about the what is it, like the retainer, the 1K a month? How does that add up?
Yeah, so we've got, I believe, 8 creators in there now. We have, it's either 1K a month or 10K for the year. And so we've like, again, going back to this anti-sales mindset, it's like, we're fine if people want to like cancel some months. Like it's kind of a choose your own adventure type thing. We're not locking people into like a long-term coaching thing. It's just like, we're here if you need our help. And so we've had, I think the peak that we had was like 10. And so I think we're at 8 now. And so the other thing too, is that we have not advertised this. It's really only alumni of the program right now, but I have this sneaky suspicion that actually might become the core offer one day, because I just feel like the ROI is so crazy, man. And it's a newer model. It's a newer model that hasn't really existed before. The parallel I draw is like financial advisory, right? It's like, do you want to pay someone assets under management for like percentage, or do you want to pay them a fee only, right? And so I think as I talk about this more, I'm also coming out with a book soon. And so I think this is going to further my spiky point of view around a lot of this stuff, perhaps.
But then you're actually not at 45, but like almost 55, right? So like I mean, 83 is the threshold where you hit the $1 million mark.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, I also we're doing probably around 20K a month in sponsorships right now, which is pretty sweet.
Then you're at 75, like it's 45,
yeah.
then another 8.
Dude.
It's like 75.
Okay, I gotta admit something, dude. I don't, this whole Creator Wizard, I've looked at it as like a project, because I never like launched this thinking it was going to be a business, dude. Like I never was like, I'm going to like make $1 million a year and all this money coaching and courses. And I was like, let me make some YouTube videos. Right. And so I literally was looking at our like revenue, like the P&L like recently. And I was like, dang, I didn't realize we were making that much money a month. I didn't even know. Not that I'm aloof about it, but like, I know I have like a team, right? So I'm fairly aware, but like, I didn't actually realize how it has grown. And I think part of that is, again, it's just going back to this mindset is like, I'm not in this for the money at all. Like I'm in this for like helping people, helping creators. And so, yeah, dude, maybe we're going to hit that ARR run rate soon. And it's tough though, because the course sales still feel pretty unpredictable to me. Like even though we're at that run rate and it's been that way for a bit, like I don't know if it's going to continue. It's hard to know. It's not really a true MRR product like the Wizards Guild is more, you know?
I know. That makes sense. Real quick before we move on, to understand growth as well, right? Like it ramped up over the last years. Like take me on, like let's say year on year. How did it grow up to all in 75,000 right now? Like how did it ramp up?
I mean, so because we just talked about sponsorships, I wasn't even doing sponsorships for Creator Wizard like a year ago. I didn't think that I was like helping people get sponsorships, not like doing sponsorships myself, but like, you know, brand creator economy companies just started knocking on my door being like, hey, you have 30,000 creators in your audience. Can we like advertise to them? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Like it was just not something I thought of. And so that's ramped up significantly over the last, a year or so. But then with the courses, it was so slow at first, man. Like my very first cohort of my course had 3 creators. Then it was 5, cohort 2, cohort 3 was 7. Then it was 16. Then it was 42. I increased the investment too. First, it was like $1,000 for the live cohort. Then it was 2,000. Then eventually it was 3,000. And I'm going to be doing one final live cohort probably this year before I like stop doing them completely. But yeah, it was like, 3, 5, 7, 16, 42, 48. And then once I increased it to 3,000, it went down because we're looking at the price elasticity now, right? And so it went down to, I think, 36 and then 28. And so it's kind of like leveled off here. I think that I'm looking at the sweet spot is definitely, I think, around there. But then once I kind of reduced the investment to 1,500 with the on-demand, that was really when I think things took off, because that, is kind of the sweet spot, I think, for this.
But like, still be speaking, a year ago, it was like half the size then?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Nice. That's amazing. Double. And let's see if I can get this straight in my head. Like, the highest price point is right now, how much of the total revenue? Feels like, tough to say. The highest price point was even the highest price point, 1K a month. I would say this is the highest. This is like less than 1,500, but it's one time. The other one is 1K a month, 10K a year. And you have 8 people there. So let's say that's 8K or 75, 10%, 10, 15% is the highest price point today.
Go ahead.
And maybe like soon more, like scaling this up.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people in my ear who is like, you need a 30K offer or something, where it's like people working directly with you for a certain time frame. And I'm just feeling so, especially when the book comes out, because I know that I have a lot of friends who are authors, and they said you kind of shake a lot of people out of the woodwork when you have a book. And so it's like the people who are at the very top of their game, who would expect there to be some sort of much higher offer, like you need to have something ready for that. And I was just like, oh man, I don't know. I got to figure that out, because I don't have that cracked yet.
You know what? Like, every business is unique. I got people coming from the high end. Some people come from the low end. Some people go like all the way. Like, there's everything. But I can tell you, there's people out there that charge 30, that charge 80, that charge 100, that charge 200, that charge 250, and that charge up to $1 million a year.
That's insane
per client.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's talk about team size. How big is the team right now? Is it you and a few contractors? And if I were to have that secret chat with your accountant, what are like the cost items? Where do you invest the money?
Yeah. I mean, I invest a lot of money back into personnel for sure. I've got a handful of full-time folks. I've got a director of operations and community. Her name is Dee. She's amazing. By the way, she is an alumni of my program. That's how I actually connected with her first. So she's been working with me for several years. I have an assistant named Russ. I have a who handles a lot of the social media stuff. And then I have a operations coordinator named Bianca. And she, so they're all full time. And then I have a smattering of contractors. So video editors, graphic designers, like thumbnail artists, I also hire a lot of people on project basis stuff. So like, copywriters for sales page stuff, email strategists, YouTube strategists. Like, I just got my trademark for Creator Wizard. So, special purpose lawyers for certain things. That's kind of roughly the team size right now.
Let's talk about lead gen and customer acquisitions. How do you get eyeballs and awareness?
So, yeah, I mean, I've tried so many different things over for the first 2.5 years, it was completely organic. It was all just like hardcore hustle, like lead gen from just like every single post that I made on social media, or at the end of a podcast when a interviewer said, "Hey, so where can people follow you and learn more about you?" I would say creatorwizard.com/join. That's literally the only thing I ever said, which was the newsletter opt-in. And so that grew pretty significantly. There was like a hockey stick growth for that, for sure. For the first 2.5 years. And then I started experimenting with paid ads for the newsletter. So both like newsletter recommendation services like Sparkloop. I've run Facebook and Meta Instagram ads to acquire folks onto the newsletter. I've done sponsorships where I've sponsored other people's newsletters to shout out my stuff. I've done free swaps. So I've shared someone else's newsletter on mine. And something new that we're going to be trying is actually compensating our audience members to talk about us. So that's since they're all creators, right? It's like, they all have audiences. And so this is something we're going to be experimenting with. It's like, hey, talk about our newsletter or to your TikTok or something. So
real quick, what was the most successful one?
I mean, Facebook ads have been killer for us, dude. I think it's because the value proposition is so good. It's like, hey, sign up for our newsletter. We're going to send you sponsorships. It's like sponsorship opportunities, because that's what the newsletter is, right? And so we've been able to see like really good CPAs. We've experienced like, from like 80, 90 cents up to now we're like, doing different like conversion optimization stuff. So it's a little bit more now. But yeah, like our CPAs have been killer. So yeah, I would say probably like Meta and Facebook ads.
Well, what's the CPA?
For like right now?
Yeah, we get like 80, 90 cents was likely CPL, right? Like what's a CP? What's a CPA?
Oh, sorry. Like the cost per acquisition.
Yeah. I know what the CPA is, but like what's the CPA?
Yeah. So yeah, it's between, I would say $1 and $3 right now for us.
Huh? Wait, you make 1,500 on an order and you pay $1 to $3 for getting an order? Are you sure?
No. For a newsletter sub, not for a site. So it's a nurturing. So to clarify, I have done a lot of cold ads straight to the webinar, like opt-in, an evergreen webinar. So I have an evergreen webinar that talks. I do a very in-depth masterclass about pitching, and so we have run ads straight to that registration page for the webinar, and those are much more expensive. That's like $30. $20 to $30 for those registration opt-ins. And so, but for the newsletter, it's like, and that's more of a nurturing strategy for the newsletter.
Okay. So $30 for webinar sign up. Then you have a show up rate of?
Well, it's I've done both live and on demand, like evergreen webinars, and so they vary. Obviously, the live webinars is way better. You're seeing something like more like a 50% show up rate, and then for the evergreen webinar, it's more like 30 to 40%.
Before we continue, there's one favor I would like to ask. If you enjoy what we do here and you enjoy the guests that we bring, please join $1 Million Creators by hitting the subscribe button. And if you do, I'll make you a deal. I do everything in my power to make this show bigger and better for you. Do we have a deal? Enjoy the show. Okay, so $30, 30%, that is $90. And you have a conversion of 10% is $900. And then you have $1,000 offer, so you likely break even essentially, and then you make money on the back end with the retainer.
I'll be honest, man. The paid ads has been a grind for the webinar. That has been. I have not cracked it yet. I would say I've spent about $100K over the last year, and I'm about even. I'm about break even. Okay. I'm on my like 6th or 7th iteration of the webinar, testing different positioning and the way in which I talk about stuff. It's been a grind. I haven't figured it out yet, man, but I'm confident I will.
Nice. Real quick, what has been the secret to grow your audience?
I think the secret is, again, like I literally say this all the time. I don't care if like 99.9% of people pay me a dime ever. And so like anytime anyone says that they're having issues with brands, people just tag me all the time. Talk to Justin. That's number one, is just like, again, this like kind of anti-sales mentality. And then the other thing too, is that I kind of give away a massive amount for free. Like I have public coaching calls on my YouTube channel. Like I literally, I just like release it. And so it's just like a bunch of free game, I think is the answer.
Clear. Let's talk about the future then. Could you triple the business by yourself in the next 12 months?
Working on it. I mean, I think the immediate next step for us is implementing a version of the asynchronous coaching that is at a lower price point, a lower investment amount, but public. This is what we're going to be experimenting with. So in our private community, obviously you have the asynchronous coaching, which is in a private room. No one can see your deals or your negotiations. But I think there is this other opportunity for us that we're exploring, which is like supporting people who are okay actually talking about their deals in a public setting in the private community, obviously, amongst other creators and who are in there, and getting support directly from our team at a lower investment level. And so more of a membership type model with that. And so that's the next item up on the biggest agenda.
Potential channel to drive massive growth?
I've been trying to crack short form for a long time, dude. I think short form for me is something that I've been investing a lot into the last like 6 months or so, and using tools like ManyChat to automate lead magnets and getting people on the newsletter and stuff like that. It's worked pretty well, I would say, but I've still haven't cracked the code.
What's the biggest thing holding you back personally on achieving that massive growth?
I don't think it's holding me back in so far as that I'm consciously not doing it, which is like balancing time with my family with this. Like I learned when I ran the agency what I didn't want, which was like a all consuming entrepreneurial venture that takes me away from my family all the time. And I thought that's what I wanted. I thought I wanted a bunch of full-time employees. I thought I wanted to grow that giant agency. And then I ended up really struggling with that business that I had built. It was kind of like it had this inertia, this momentum, and it was like out of control and I couldn't stop it. And with this business, I've been way more intentional about designing something that I guess maybe you could call it more of a lifestyle business, where if I say, if I'm doing $1 million a year and netting whatever 600, 700K, like I don't need that. I don't need anything more than that. That's awesome. That's a great life. And so, yeah, that's an obstacle to me growing more because I just am intentional about not wanting it to grow beyond that.
It's very honest and not driven. I love that. Next section is called Favorite 5. It's a fast-paced section. You can answer in one word.
Okay.
Let's go. So what's your favorite book or business book?
Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley.
What's your favorite way to get inspiration or to learn and grow?
Ask people who know more than me.
What's your favorite person that you're studying or your role model?
Again, probably Daniel Priestley.
What's the favorite event or conference that you have attended or would love to attend?
The Sponsorship Strategy Summit, which is what I'm going to be launching next year.
That is very smart. Launch your own event. What's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Circle.
And what's your favorite city or place that you would love to move to?
Kauai.
Yeah. Crazy with time zone, but yes. Biggest thing on your mind?
How to maximize time with my family and my kids as they get older.
Personal section is also a really quick one. How many hours do you work per week?
60.
How many hours do you sleep per night?
7.
What's the situation? Married, single, any kids? So obviously you have kids.
Married, 2 kids.
Same, like me. I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm in the trenches.
You're in the trenches, man.
Both hands full. What's your age?
I am, well, as of next month, I'll be 38, but I'm 37 right now.
We also want to give some advice to the audience. Final question. If you could go back in time and have a conversation with your 20-year-old self, what's the best piece of advice that you would give to your younger self?
The journey to get to where you're going to be is actually way more fun than where you're trying to get.
The journey to where you're going to be is more fun than the
journey to where you're trying to get to is way more fun than getting there.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Really, really, really good. This is Justin Moore. Justin Moore is the sponsorship coach and the founder of the Creator Wizard, which you can see in the background as well if you watch the video. He is helping creators to make a ton of money with sponsorships. He has really good programs figured out, like the Brand Deal Wizard for $1,500. And then you can also work with him to get that 4-figure and 5-figure income through sponsorships. He is giving a ton of stuff away for free. He's very genuine. So definitely check him out. He has, I would say pretty much cracked the $1 million mark-ish, sort of. Like he's essentially like seeing it. He's like touching it. and will soon likely get there anyways. He loves to also spend time with the family. The team is a team of 5, and Facebook ads to email nurture is the funnel. Email, the audience is increasing and growing, and he sees like an opportunity to start a lower ticket public asynchronous coaching, to build more trust with the people, to really give them value, to then potentially also upsell them into a higher price point. Hey, thank you so much for sharing your passion, taking us to the next level, Justin.
Thanks so much, man. It was great.